Another year, another batch of 5th grade head cases.
Let's just get through it.
I hope everyone's met our class pets, Leonardo and Squirtle. I'm not touching those things.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to another Paws on Animation and Paws on Netflix.
Today we're covering one of the newest Netflix movies, Leo.
Yes, and this movie is Adam Sandler's latest film. It stars him as the titular Leo, an old iguana who's been the class pet for 74 years.
Good grief.
You know, he learns that he only has 1 year left to live, poor thing. He originally wants to escape in the wild, but he ends up becoming his class' greatest teacher when he goes home with each kid in his class. And this lizard will touch your heart.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and wanna pause videos.
And your funny bone, yes.
Yes.
So we've been wanting to review this for a little bit, and we finally got to watch it. And now we're going to tell you whether you should check it out or give it a pass. Now, you know how much we love Adam Sandler.
Right.
So, if it goes well, we're really happy.
Yes. And Adam Sandler has been doing quite a few movies on Netflix recently, since he no longer has movies in the theater. So whenever we get a new movie, we're immediately watching it with easy access of Netflix. And it had been maybe a year, if not more, since his last film, which was live action. And he hadn't done an animated movie since Hotel Transylvania. And people thought that was going to be it because, aside from Eight Crazy Nights, he hasn't done much animation. And for a lot of ones who are not Adam Sandler fans, just thought it was going to be something bad because there's a lot of people that can't stand any of his films unless he's not in charge. So when the movie came out, they gave it a chance, and people were amazed on how much they loved the film. It was made by him.
Well, not only was he one of the writers, one of three, Adam Sandler, Robert Smigel, and Paul Sato. He was also one of the two producers with Mariel Soria, and of course he starred.
Yes. And we were hoping it would be good because there are times we were excited for new things and it turns out to be not so great. But it seems like the reviews were right. This was definitely one of the best movies of the year. And all we kept hearing was that they did not expect it to be this good. They thought it was going to be just okay or good, but not this well made. So this was a surprise for a lot of people, whether they were Sandler fans or not.
And it, yes, is a Happy Madison production. And another thing that really went well for it is the voice cast. Besides Sandler, you have Jason Alexander, yes, as one of the dads, and you also have his two daughters, Sadie and Sunny.
Yes.
You have Roy Smigel, which I think got to be related to the other Smigel.
Yeah.
Jackie Sandler, his wife, as the mom, and Robert Smigel himself voiced 4 characters. Nick Swartzen, and if you watch Supernatural, he was Sam's imaginary buddy.
Yes.
And you had some other people we're really not familiar with, but the cast that we knew was good as well as the ones we're not familiar with, everyone did a terrific job.
Definitely. And animation itself actually was not bad. We thought, for sometimes for Netflix they'll have some really outstanding animation. Other times it looks like they just drew some paper dolls or something. But for here, it fit very well for the movie. It looked really colorful, especially when it got to the 2D credits. And they even had parts where it had musical numbers. And I think they were supposed to be making fun of the Disney films when they break out in the song for no reason because none of the lyrics ever made complete sense.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the animation because this movie was animated by Netflix Animation's Animal Logic.
Oh, really? So they can do some decently animated films. Oh my gosh.
Yes, this is an Australian animation visual effects company based at Disney Studios in Sydney, New South Wales.
Ah, so that explains the musical numbers. Okay. And we started the movie like one day, and then we had to finish another one because it was pretty late. And when we did start, like, off the bat, it starts off hilarious with a song about the kids going to school, and it's not just like, oh, it's gonna be a great day at school and it's so fun. They're just like, oh, they're gonna dread it, they can't wait to get out, it's gonna be miserable, they got this problem, that problem, it's just a nightmare, and it's hilarious. And instead of being, oh, it's so great, it's gonna be like, no, this is crap, I don't want to be here. And when you see Leo and his friend who's older turtle, I think it's hilarious. And they've been in the class for so long that they just kind of predict how some of these kids are gonna be and their personalities. And being there 74 years, I guess he knows a thing or two on how to get around, how these kids are gonna act and everything. It's hilarious. He had his own little phases too each decade.
And there's a nice mixture of genres. You got comedy, a little drama, as you said, the musical,
Something
slice of life. There's no magic in here. Well, I guess there is if he's talking.
And
other than that,
and they never explain that you're talking. How are you talking? He just can. He's the turtle. They just can talk, and that's it.
I also want to mention that the co-producer for this, as I mentioned, is Muriel Soria, who is notable for working at DreamWorks.
So the mixture of
you can
talent.
see all the different elements that are going on within this movie, the way the animation works. You definitely can tell it's DreamWorks, and the way it looks is DreamWorks. And it's amazing that Netflix has an digital animation production company via Disney. I mean, when you think about all the elements of this movie, how it looked and how it worked, it seems like actually I don't want to say, it seems like it was teamwork.
Yeah, for all
which Disney
different
doesn't know
bases.
anything about. Disney like teamwork.
Right. So for here, he says that we found out that lizards or iguanas usually they live up to 75 years. They get more into that when it gets towards the end of the film. And he tries to figure out when he was born. And it's like, I guess he's got good memory because he recalled he was born in, I think it's a 79?
No.
Not 79, no.
It can't be 79.
Not 79. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking because it takes place in the current year. So he was born 74 years ago. And it's, he lived to 75. He's like, oh my gosh, only 1 year left. And he started like panicking and everything. And the stuff he wanted to do was basically like a lot of animals want to do in these movies. They want to go out into the wild and be free and everything. And of course, that's not going to be what he thinks it is.
It was the 50s.
Right. 50s, thank you. I don't know why I said 49. He was born in 49, according to the film. And he's trying to escape in different parts of the movie. And he keeps failing. And it goes to a point where they had the substitute. They had the substitute there. Saying they gotta take home one of the pets to learn responsibility. No one wanted to do it. And they were just like, oh no, he's gross. And they're just looking, I'm like, what the heck's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. I think all of a sudden he tried to escape. Yes, that was one of the most funniest segments.
2 hours to move across the room. And he ends up going home with a girl that goes on and on and on and won't stop talking. Stop talking! And at first, they take him like an entire day to get out of the room, and by the time he gets to the window, it was like 9 o'clock at night. It goes from 4 p.m. to 9 o'clock. And he accidentally gets caught by her. And he's like, oh, I talked to you because you're special. And he's kind of just saying things off the top of his head because he wants to leave. And he actually ends up giving her advice. You know, why don't kids like her? How come you don't want to be around her? And said, well, you do kind of talk a lot. You don't give them a chance to speak. How about you ask them a question so you know you're talking to them and want them involved? And she does it, and it immediately works. And she actually starts to get some friends there. And then the whole cycle of this goes to, he's forced to go home with one of the kids. And they end up finding out he can talk, and he ends up talking to them, helping with their problems, and get better at school. So they're not so miserable when they're there. And each time, the kids are different, and they're actually happy to be there and getting better, to the point where all the kids want to take home Leo.
Yeah.
No one want to take home the turtle. They want to take home Leo. So what is with this lizard? You want to take him home all the
resulted in jealousy.
Of course.
The jealous turtle.
Yes.
I want to also mention we failed to tell you that Rob Schneider appears not only as the narrator, but also as the principal of the school.
Yes, that's correct. He sure does. So he has 2 big roles in here.
So the turtle gets jealous, pulls a stunt that exposes that he speaks to everyone, and it's really mean-spirited.
Yeah, and I guess that's, for the parts that the people know for Adam Sandler, yeah, there are times it can get a little mean, and that was it. It wasn't really brutal, but it was more cruel and emotional cruelty, because you really like that he was friends with all these kids at once, and they loved talking to him, and he was the one to go to, and this guy went and messed it up. And even the teacher ends up finding out about him. And what's funny is that the thing that doesn't shock her most is there's a talking lizard in the class. It's the fact this talking lizard is helping the kids be better. That's what kind of bothered her
and
more.
And she turns into Peggy Hill when she gets jealous.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of jealousy going on in this movie. Even with the kids, everyone has jealousy going on.
Right. So you actually get a lot of good messages in here. And I know that people weren't expecting that, but yeah, there were a lot of messages in here for not just the kids, but for the adults, especially how to treat each other and the personality, how to improve and everything. No one expected this movie to have those types of messages and told it so well, and it wasn't just hammering it in there and trying to force you to learn it.
So I guess that's what happens when there's a joint production between different companies. Each company has their input, and maybe this is the result.
Yeah.
It's very, very good, and actually, surprisingly, it was well received not only by Rotten Tomatoes, and we don't care what they think anymore, but also by Metacritic and some other reviewers. It's gotten relatively positive feedback.
Right, which is exceedingly rare.
Relatively positive feedback.
Which is incredibly rare for an Adam Sandler movie, whether live or animated. Because even with Hotel Transylvania, the first one did well, but the sequel started to get bad reviews. So this is the first really big animated movie from him that's been positive. So that's a step in the right direction for a lot of people who were still skeptical on the movies he makes.
And what they did to make sure that it wouldn't bomb is it actually was previewed at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. It's a mouthful. In June of this year, before it was released in November.
So it
got positive reviews at the film festival. So they went ahead, Netflix picked it up and took the chance.
Right, and that was a really great move because it worked out. And Adam Sandler's last hit was the live-action movie Hustle, which was another joint production. Not for animation, but for working together with LeBron James. So it looks like doing some of these movies together with other people alongside his solo stuff is working out, whether live or animated. So it looks like we'll be seeing more of these types of movies on here in the future.
Absolutely. So if you've seen Leo, Netflix's Leo, because there's another Leo Indian film that was released at the same time, but we're talking about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, the lovable lizard.
Yes, if you've seen this animated Leo Netflix movie, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you enjoy it? Did you find it to be mid? Tell us what you think if you haven't seen it. Right now it's available exclusively on Netflix to stream. We advise you, we recommend, it would behoove you to go ahead, give it a watch, and come back and let us know what you think.
And if you want to see it on DVD when it comes out, please buy it. You will not regret it. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly videos, favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your support, for your subscribing to us, and joining us on our podcast. We appreciate you so much. If you've got any requests, let us know in the comments below.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.